I'm Jennifer Carroll with CelebratingEverydayLife.com, and today I'm going to show you 2 methods for how to make these beautiful labels to help you organize your pantry, your craft room, or anywhere that some labels would be helpful. Organizing and decluttering is a great way to reduce stress and make your home more of a haven. Now, I'm the first to admit that getting organized can be overwhelming, but I have learned that if I can carve out the time and just do it, I enjoy so much more peace in my everyday life, which is what I want for you too. Simple things like these labels can add both beauty and order. After all, it's so much easier to put everything in its place when you know where that place is. Plus, making it pretty, you can transform otherwise utilitarian parts of your home into spaces that are more pleasant and fulfilling to spend time in. So today, I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can make these labels. Now, the first method will be for labels, as you see here, print and cut into a shape using the Print Then Cut feature on my Cricut paper cutting machine. Now, the second way is for those of you who don't have a cutting machine. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make these with an editable PDF and some scissors. Here's method 1. Now, my Cricut is probably one of my most used craft supplies, and it wasn't always this way because I hadn't taken the time to properly learn how to use it. But once I did, it totally changed the amount of projects and the quality of the projects that I could do.
For this project, here's a list of things you will need. A Cricut cutting machine, or any kind of paper cutting machine. Now, I'm using a Cricut, so I'm going to tell you about a Cricut, but you could use Silhouette or any of the other ones. I just don't have those, so I'm not an expert in those. So I'm using my Cricut Maker, but you could also use the Cricut Air Explorer 2 or another type of machine as well. Then you're also going to need your Cricut design software or whatever design software you use for your particular cutter. You're going to need the Floral labels file, which is available in my free resource library, and more about that in just a moment. Next, you're going to need the label pages. So I used Avery full page shipping labels. These are 8.5 by 11 full sheet. And then, of course, you're going to need some containers to put your labels on. Now, I wanted my labels to have the names printed on them, and the computer font looks better than my handwriting. So the first thing I recommend you do is create a list of the names that you want to put on your label. Now, I typed mine so I could just cut and paste it into the design software as needed. And I'll show you what I mean about that in just a moment. Next, you'll need to get the label from my blog's free resource library at CelebratingEverydayLife.com, and I'm including links to this in the video notes below. Now, when you sign up to receive my email newsletter, you're automatically sent the password to access the library instantly, and you'll get the link to this as well. You'll also receive my weekly newsletter with behind-the-scenes details and notes from me and links to all the latest happenings on my blog. Now, once you've logged in, the file you need is called Floral Labels, and you want to click to download this zip file. Now, make sure that you're choosing the one that has Print Then Cut Floral Labels and not the PDF version, because you need the one that's going to go into the design software. And that's the Print Then Cut version. It's a PNG file. Now we're going to launch Cricut Design Space. So click New Project and click Upload and choose Upload Image and you want to navigate to the file that you downloaded. You want to find the PNG file and you want to click Open. And now it's going to give us some options, and we want to choose Complex. And don't do anything with this next screen except click Continue. Next, we're going to choose Save as Print Then Cut Image. We don't want just the image background, we want the one on the left. And just choose that, and it may take a moment, but then finally it's going to add the image to your library. And you can see I've done others of these. So select the one that you uploaded and click Insert Images. And now it's going to appear on your canvas. And as you can see, it's a large image. And one of the great things about Design Space is that you can make these labels any size that you want, which I just love. I mean, think about the possibilities. For our project today, I'm going to show you the size and details that I use to make mine, but just know that you can make these any size that you need, which again is one of the reasons I so love my Cricut, because of the versatility that it gives me. With a PDF, I am just stuck with what it is, but with this Design Space software, you can make, big versions, little versions, medium-sized versions, so there's just so much flexibility here. So, one of the reasons that I went with this size that I did is because I knew that I had a lot of these to print, a lot of items in my pantry, and I'm going to organize my pantry with this first set, and I wanted to get the most out of each page of labels. So I sized them in a way that I could print 2 rows for a total of 8 labels per page. So I sized my labels to be 3.3 inches wide, and it's going to automatically keep it in the proper scale for you, so you don't have to do anything special there. Just enter that and we're good to go. Now, you want to open up the label list that you made earlier. This is that list of items that you're going to put on your labels. And again, the reason that I like this is because it's going to help me not forget an item. And we're just going to cut and paste these into our software. It's going to make it really easy for us. But you could just hand type it in, whichever you prefer. So since we're going to work with my list, I'm going to click, I want to add a text field. So we're going to click the text button and a text box is going to automatically appear. And then I'm going to go over to my list and I am going to copy and paste the title of my first item. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to copy it from that list and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste it into this text field. Next, we're going to highlight the text in the box, and we're going to click the font drop down to select the font that we want to use. Now, I used a font called Harlem's. You can use any kind of font that you want, and I'll include a link to the font that I used in the links below, but pick whatever font you prefer to use from this list. And now we need to format the font, because notice how it's black and it's spaced kind of awkwardly? Let's fix that. First, let's select the font. In the panel on the right, you'll see the text with the scissor icon next to it. And that indicates that the file thinks that we want to cut this font, which we don't. So first, let's change that to the print icon by clicking on those scissors. A window will open. Now let's select the print icon. Aha! Next, let's change the color from black. Now I'd like a blue accent color to accent the pretty flowers, so let's click blueberry from this list. Okay, now just click anywhere outside that window to close it. The letters are the right color now, but they're still too big and too spread out, so here are the settings that I use to change it. First, be sure the text box is selected. Now let's change the font size. I use 28, but again, pick any size that you prefer that works well for what you're doing. Now, let's adjust the kerning, or that amount of space that's between the letters. I set mine to minus 0.75. Now, make sure you enter the minus symbol and the period, that point, before the 75. Otherwise, you'll get a completely different result. So after some trial and error, this was an amount that I personally liked, but again, tweak it to however you prefer. Okay, now let's center the name on the label, and you've done one. Hooray! Look at how easy. And the really good news, because I know that was tedious, okay? But the good news is that now we can just copy and paste the rest. We don't have to fiddle with those settings again unless we're trying to change something specific. So it really does get easier, and I love that. Okay, so let's select both the label and the name, and let's copy and paste them. Be sure both the text and the label is selected and move it where you want on the canvas. Now, it doesn't matter too much where you place this on your canvas, because once it goes to the Make It page, the software will configure it specifically. But just for a bit of order while we're working, I placed mine in columns. So put your label below the top one. Now, copy the next title from your list, and then come back to Design Space and click into your text on the label you want to update. Paste your new title here, and you'll notice it kept all the formatting. Yay! Now, if you have some labels that will do better with 2 lines of text, as mine did, here are the settings that I used for that one. You want to enter your text, and now put your cursor between the 2 words and press the return button to break the text into 2 lines. Now first, let's correct the alignment. Let's highlight the text and click the alignment button at the top. And I chose center. Now, I preferred a little less space between the height of the lines, so be sure you've clicked on the text box, and now go up to the line space box. I chose -6. Now, again, make sure you've included that minus symbol before the number, or you're going to get a very different result from the one that I got. And, again, make this to your personal preference, but that was the one that I went with. Once you have it all set how you like, copy and paste the label, and just like we did, and then just keep repeating that. Just copy and paste the label as many times as you need to until you have all of your labels on your canvas. Now, once you have them all ready, you need to make sure that you flatten each label before you send it to make. Now, this is a critical step, and I don't want you to miss it. So if you look on the right-hand side, you want to select the label and the text for each one. So highlight this, select 2, and you'll see on this right-hand menu, see how you have your text selected and your label selected, and it's just one label. You're not trying to do this as a group. You want to select the labels one at a time. Once you have your text and your label selected, you want to come down and you want to hit that flatten button. And it's going to make it one group. And so repeat this process with each label. Select the text, select the label, and click flatten. And do that over and over till you have flattened every one of your labels. And you'll notice that list on the right now, you don't see that text anywhere anymore for individual items. Everything is in its perfect little label group. Okay, once each label is flat, you're ready to make it. So all we do is we click Make It in the top right-hand corner, and ta-da! It will prepare the mats for you. Isn't this awesome? Okay, so be sure that your cutting machine and your printer are connected to your computer. Or if you're using an iPad or iPhone or whatever it is, just make sure you're connected. You'll see it there. And click Continue. Now, you want to load your label paper into the printer, and be sure to load it in the proper way. So make sure you know how your printer wants your paper and put your label sheet in the correct way to avoid any misprints. Now, once you've got your paper loaded, you can press the Send to Printer button. And I just left mine with the default settings, press print. Once the printer prints, now you need to put the label paper on your cutting mat. So to do this, we're going to pull it out. We're going to put it in the top left-hand corner of our cutting mat, get it all lined up, and then we're going to just push with our hands, make sure it's on there nice and snug, nice and secure. And now we're going to set our material. Okay, so I chose cardstock adhesive back for my material. They didn't have like an Avery setting in the Cricut, so this seemed to do really well for the Avery labels that I chose. So cardstock adhesive back. And then I also chose the More pressure button. Now simply load the mat into the machine and press the flashing arrow button. This is going to load it for you. Once it's loaded, press the flashing C button, and the machine will do the rest. Okay, once it's done cutting for you, just press the flashing arrow button to eject it.
So now you need to offload the cutting mat. I prefer to offload mine by placing the cut side face down in front of me. And then I roll the mat away. And this helps whatever I've cut to not curl and bend and stay nice and flat. So I just roll the mat, just like that. Just keep rolling. Ta-da! So now it's all off the mat. And I've got my sheet here, and see, they've already started cutting out. How easy and fun is that? Oh, I love this. Such a great technique, you guys. And if you have multiple sheets as I did, just keep repeating the print then cut for all of your mats. Now, once you're done, you're ready for the final step, applying the label to your container. But before I show you that though, let me show you how to create these labels if you don't have a Cricut or other cutting machine and you just want to use a PDF to print and then hand cut the labels. If you don't have a Cricut, but you still want these beautiful labels, here's a method just for you. Method 2, using an editable PDF and cutting by hand.
Now, for this method of the project, here's a list of things that you'll need. You'll need printable floral labels, the PDF version from my free resource library, and I'm going to show you how to get that in just a second. You're also going to need Adobe Acrobat Reader. You'll need Avery full-page shipping labels. You'll need scissors and containers, of course, to put your labels on. All right, step 1. Now, I wanted my labels to have the names printed on them because the computer font looks better than my handwriting, but this is just a personal preference for you. But if you want to do this, I would recommend that you first make a list of the names that you want to put on each label. I think a list is nice because it's going to help you avoid missing an item if you're just working from memory, and then you're going to have to come back and redo things as you think of them. So you can always come back and do this again and again, but it's nice to be as efficient as we can be. So I made a list. Next, you'll need to get the label file from my blog's free resource library. So we want to navigate to celebratingeverydaylife.com, and you're going to click on the free printable library at the top of the page, and that's going to take you to a page to sign up. Now, once you sign up to receive my email newsletter, you're going to automatically get sent a password to access the library and the link to the library. And the password's going to be right at the top of the email that you get. It's in pink. Now, you'll also receive my weekly newsletter with behind-the-scenes details and fun personal notes from me, and of course, links to the latest happenings on my blog. So please go subscribe. Once you've logged in and you get to the resource library page, you're going to navigate down, and the file that you want is the Floral Labels PDF. Now, make sure you choose the PDF version because that's the kind that's going to work with this. The other one, the PNG, is not going to work for you. So click the one for the PDF and download the file. Once you've downloaded the file, you want to open it in Adobe Acrobat Reader. From here, you can either print the blank page just as it is and handwrite your titles on each label. And don't worry about these purple colored fields in the center. They won't appear on your printed copy. Or if you want to personalize these, you can enter a name on each label, and this is where your list comes in handy. You can simply cut and paste each item into a label field, and, there you go. You can also just, type them in. You don't have to cut and paste. But whatever you do, you can only do 8 labels at a time with this method. So enter the 8 names that you want in there. And if you can't get, I will tell you this, a little disclaimer about my editable PDF. These are still kind of new to me, so I've done my best to create this for you, but if you're having trouble with the item not fitting, you might want to just print some blank ones and hand write it. I'm learning all the time and trying to make this as awesome as I can for you guys, but please extend a little grace too if it's not fitting for you. I'm, trying to learn and definitely want to be a blessing to you. And if anybody has any tips, please be sure to share them with me. So enter your items. Once you have a page of labels all ready, go ahead and print that page, then come back in, enter your next group of 8, print that page, and just repeat that as many times as you need to get the total number of labels that you need. Okay, so once you've got your page filled out, we're going to load the paper into our printer. Make sure you load the paper in the proper way. My printer requires me to put the paper in so that the print side is facing down. So put your label sheet in the right way for your printer so that you avoid a misprint. And now you want to press the print icon to print. And once your page is printed, you just use scissors to cut out each label. And you can cut out following the shape of the label, or you can cut it out in a square or an oval or whatever you like. And once you've got your labels cut out, ta-da, we are ready to put our labels on our jars.
Now we're ready to put our labels on our jars. To make sure the labels will do their best, I recommend taking some rubbing alcohol, any kind of rubbing alcohol, and some cotton balls, and cleaning the surface just to make sure there's no kind of surfactant, anything that might have gotten on there from the store or just your hands, any oil or grease, anything like that, because we want the label to adhere properly so it stays on there for a nice long time. So for that, we're going to just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and we're going to put it on a cotton ball, and we're just going to rub this area here, and that's it. Let it dry. Now for this next step, I'm going to put my glasses on. We want to just peel off the backing of our label, just like that. Now I've got my label all sticky and ready to go, and I'm just going to take and put it on here, try and make sure I've got it on here evenly, level. Adjust that just a little. It's hard because I'm trying to do it so you can see too. Let me get it on here. Whee! All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to burnish it on there, make sure it's on there nice and flat. And there we go. So easy and fun. Ta-da! Now you have pretty labels, and you've created beautifully labeled jars, which can help you organize your pantry, your craft space, your bathroom, or goodness, anywhere that labels would help you tame your stuff. Now, if there's a craft or a decorating DIY, an entertaining tip, or something else that you'd like to learn more about, please leave me a comment and let me know. I love hearing from you so that I can make more videos and tutorials that help you. Thanks so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I hope you'll also be sure to subscribe to get even more ideas and tips for celebrating everyday life. Oh, and don't forget to come visit me over at celebratingeverydaylife.com. Happy celebrating!